When I jumped into Agenda 2030 head first in January, I had already been on it for a while. I was, like many people, passionate about certain issues. And in September, I started working on solar radiation management pretty full time. Every day I would get up and I went out and did projects. I did photos, I did research. And then in the meantime, I was researching all those other things: vaccines, 5G, freedom. And what I came to learn was that they all intersected. We got through our federal election in October. And I followed that all through last summer. And I was quite amazed that no one ever talked about Agenda 2030. It's like it didn't exist. And I knew it was coming, but no one had an official plan out yet. Around Christmas time, or just before that, all of a sudden, and of course Trudeau was back in office, Agenda 2030 miraculously appears. And in fact, started appearing all over the world, in all of the countries, because everyone has a blueprint plan. So when I was in Ecuador this year, I dove in to reading all of those plans, trying to establish similarities, or moreover, the categories of how, what, where it all worked. And when I did, I thought to myself, they haven't got a hope in hell. There's no way. There's no way they'll ever reach those goals, which made me think that we had some time, honestly. Because I knew that the power brokers, the 1% of our world, they have a plan and they're determined to make it happen. Now, in the day, years ago, I'd heard about Agenda 21. And the reason I started running with Agenda 2030 was, again, because I thought we had time. Agenda 21, is the agenda for the 21st century. Except we all screwed up because it was actually Agenda 2021. And this event, COVID-19, was just the thing to shift us into gear. In order to go for the goals that you will see in Agenda 2030, or to have a hope in hell, you would have to radically shift our entire world. And of course, in a democracy, that's rather difficult, isn't it? All of those aversions to 5G technology, they're warranted because it's a militarized technology. And it can be militarized. Vaccines. And we're seeing it all play out now. My other clue was ID 2020, Bill Gates. Now, Bill Gates intersects all over this place. It's crazy. He is got his finger in every pie. And that's why I believe he's going to be the new grand poobah of the New World Order and our New World Government. I do. The first thing they did was January 30th, 2020. You know who took power of all our matters of health, and in fact now have infiltrated our entire system. The next step is installing a temporary global government to deal with the ramifications, economic and health, around the world of the coronavirus. And this is already part of the plan. Everything's set up for this. And this is what we're not understanding. We're still looking at ourselves as nations with autonomy, We lost that on January 30th when it came to this matter and gave them the segue in. They're in now. And we're not in control. They've shut down our entire health system. It's shut down. Yes, if you had cancer treatment, you're still going. But if you need to be diagnosed, it's not on. What's happening here is COVID-19 has completely bypassed the physicians. And in the United States, with a self-assessment and a questionnaire. Now we're going to get into that for tomorrow's video because I have a very groundbreaking story to present. But right now, literally, our legislation is being changed to deal with the emergency. What we all need to realize is that the democracy we thought we lived in, okay, it's no more. Because that is on hold. And they're not going to give that back. They have powers of isolation. Now, of course, if you are sick, you should be staying in. You should isolate. I've been talking about this with the flu for years and years, honestly. There's no reason for anyone to be out when they're sick, snotting all over, getting other people sick. I think that's a moral obligation. And in a free country, we respect our citizens enough to ensure that. Employers can do that too when they see someone come in sick. In small business, this is where it becomes increasingly difficult because, of course, there might not be someone to cover. And this is how this perpetuates. But I see it in government here too. I know government people that go to work sick as dogs to spread it to all their coworkers. And I would totally, well, that's why I never work in those environments. I would never work in a corporation or government, not a chance. Because I wouldn't be subjected to those conditions. It's about respect. And to me, that's what freedom is based on, respect. And when I see police in my hometown telling people to report people that might not be self-isolating, I think it is absolutely despicable. Because those are the tactics of Nazi Germany, Mao's communist China, Mussolini's Italy. This is not us. And we're allowing them to will this type of control into our world. Do you know what a real man or a real woman does? When they see somebody who's potentially compromising the health of others, they go up to them and they have a conversation. I did it last weekend when I was walking around the lake before my little incident. 4 young guys, teenagers, joking around, skateboarding, bashing each other. It was pretty cute actually, but I felt the anger well up in me. I wasn't angry at them. The first thing I thought was, you little shits. I don't want to go into jail or isolation, and guys like you are going to put me there. So what I did was I went over and I said, hey guys, and the 2 just kept walking. And I said, there's these rules out right now about social distancing. And you guys are compromising the rest of us because around the world, people are being put inside, in jail, because of this. Because I believe any type of confinement is jail. And he stopped and he said, you know what, I'm sorry. I said, no, don't be sorry. I understand where you're coming from. I do. But right now, all of us have our ass on the line right now. And he went, yeah, you're right. See, that's what civilized people do. We have conversations. We don't rat. No one likes a rat. And you know what? What I know about life, karma's a bitch. Because when you do that to someone, someone's going to do it to you. That will be unleashed again. It will. It will come back to bite you. If in fact you see somebody that consistently does that, absolutely. Okay, that's a different story. But you know what? To me, the power of an individual going and speaking to someone is going to make way more of an impact, honestly, than picking up that phone like a coward and ratting. This is what our authorities are willing upon us. This environment of fear that we've never had before. These are the tactics used in totalitarian nations. And it has no place in Canada, United States, UK, Ireland, Scotland, France, Belgium, Sweden, Switzerland, Italy. No, no place. We are free people. But they don't want us to be. And this is why this is coming about. You see now in Edmonton, just this morning, like clockwork. First, it was last night that Edmonton's going to lose 50% of its businesses. And now this morning, TELUS, not missing a beat, is ready to install all that 5G. And in fact, I heard that last night before I went to sleep from a woman from Edmonton. She's seen the white vans all over installing. And she's deeply concerned because in her complex, she has avoided this. And now there's nothing she can do. Now, how did they do that? Remember Huawei in the papers a while back? See, Huawei has every country. No one's wanted to let them in. And it's actually been a playbook across the globe. So what Huawei has done here in Canada is they're now piggybacking on TELUS. They were getting in here to put in this 5G, whether we liked it or not. Now, 5G can be militarized, but here's what else it does. With 5G, you can execute mass surveillance, facial recognition. And guess where it works really well? And how it works really well? When you're spaced out with social distance. Everything that is happening to us right now is a playbook executed by the very best marketers that money can buy. Of course, if you could be bought. There's many of us who cannot be, which is why we choose a different path. You see, that's how they get to you. They get you integrated in their society and retirement. All of these things that we have literally built our lives on. And right now, COVID-19 has ripped away from you, from everybody. This is changing our life. And ultimately, COVID-19 is the scamdemic, the plandemic, was planned so that we could actually shift into Agenda 2030 mode. It wouldn't have been possible. With all your governments coming up with the payout, the payoff, because that's what it is. I won't be taking mine. I don't qualify anyway. You see, I'm part of that entrepreneurial and small business that won't get shit. And quite honestly, as an entrepreneur, I am not fearful of the future because I always land on my feet. I have to. I've never had all of those securities. And many of you won't have them at the end of this. What this is going to do is shift you in your respective cities, from your house to a condo, to the way of life that they want. A vaccine agenda that has us fearing each other like they have put in place now because of a virus. A virus. We didn't know how bad it was with China. We couldn't rely on that information. But now we can rely on the information here. And when we see mainstream media, CBS, actually exposing, they called it, the fact that the same footage had been used for Italy and the US in New York City, describing the war zone, you gotta know that they only did that because they were pressured, because citizen journalists were out there risking their asses for you. We're not doing this for the goodness of our health, I can assure you. And I can also assure you I don't get paid for this and have not. We do this because we deeply care of our society, and for me, our freedom. I want you to join me in discussing these very issues with your nearest and dearest. This is time where we have to remember who we are. And we're strong and resilient people. But we won't be if we start ripping each other down, ratting each other out. If you do that, you're playing into it. And you're helping the people who put us in this very position now. The new future is upon us. And it does not include our freedom. Freedom of choice. And seeks to divide all of us. We can't allow that to happen, my friends. We can't. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you. And of course, Facebook and Instagram. Facebook is insane these days. Loving it. And again, another reminder on that. Love, wow, like. No angries or sads because it's saving me. We have to stop working into the programming. See, this is how they think of us. They think little of us. And I know we're better than all of it. It's time to come together. If not for you, for the freedom of your kids and your loved ones.